All right. How's it going, Nathan? Good to see you
I'm
again,
all
mate.
good, brother. How you doing? You good?
I'm all right. Thanks very much. And I appreciate you coming back for more chats because you left me with a little bit, suspense. Because the last time I spoke to you, you were going to the JC Stunt Team action camp in Beijing. It was just
Hmm.
before you left, but now you've been and you're back. So not only welcome back on here, but welcome back from Beijing. Brilliant. I'm well excited to chat to you about this, as I'm sure you can imagine. Look, this is the thing, right? If I'm excited, well, why am I excited? It was you that went. It was you that's trained with the JC Stunt Team. But it's not something I could ever do. I'm sort of living through you here. So I really appreciate you sort of giving back to me as well. It means a lot to me because I know you would do other stuff and you'd go on other things, but it doesn't matter. You still share these things with me. And I'm really grateful for that because it ain't just for the audience. And I think, we'll just record it in case other people are interested. This is real for me. This is genuine for me. I really am totally interested in this. I want to know everything about it. And it's not the sort of thing that I'm ever going to be able to experience. So I'm going to experience it through you. But I can only do that, Nathan, if you're, as usual, so kind and gracious with your time and the information that you pass on. So listen, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No, like I say, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you giving me the time of day really to do this because obviously it's something that we're both passionate about. So it's always great to be able to have these conversations with people that share those passions, man, for sure.
Well, that's it then. So here, match made in heaven. Right?
We didn't
Let's
even
get
need to
into
match
it.
it from a kung fu film or nothing.
Oh, I think there might be a little bit of this coming up, but let's get into it. Look, I don't know how much detail you want to get into, but let's just go with the flow and see where we get. You flew out to Beijing. Let's just start there. You got on a plane. Was any of the people on the same plane? What about a simple thing like that? I didn't even think about that. Or did you just go on your own? And the first time you met someone else that was on the camp was when you got there? Maybe when you got to the camp. I don't know. Tell me. Start from the really
Yeah.
beginning.
Okay. So when I got there, so I had to take obviously two flights because there wasn't a direct one from Manchester to Beijing, which was where I was flying out of. So there wasn't anybody that was on my flights. But when I got to the airport, I met a few people at the airport. But what was really funny is like the terminal that I went into was not the main terminal. It was actually about a half-hour bus ride away to another terminal, which felt like it was on the other side of town. So
Well, half hour on a bus kind of is,
you know
right?
what I mean, right? So yeah, so Beijing's huge though. But so yeah, we went. Yes, I had to go to this other terminal, which was massive. And then we were all kind of like we had there was a guy who was meeting us there, and he basically gave us a picture of where we all needed to meet. And there was people that were arriving at different times, and also a couple of people had arrived a day or two before, and a couple of people had arrived. Were arriving the following day. So when I got there, I met a couple of people there.
Hold on.
Some.
2 flights. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to follow the story in my own way. 2 flights. Where did the first flight take you?
From what I remember, the first flight took me to Amsterdam, and then from there, the second flight took me to Beijing.
And then when you got to Beijing, that's when you got this bus to another terminal,
Yeah,
and that's where right, and that's where you're gonna meet the fella,
yeah,
yeah?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah. That's right.
he gave you a picture and then walked off?
No. So, yeah, basically, so we have this communication system called WeChat. It's heavily used in China. It's the main kind. It's kind of like their WhatsApp, basically.
Yeah.
And so we had like a JC stunt camp WeChat group, and the guy whose name was Lennon, he basically he said, "Oh, I'll be meeting you. Make sure you're at this point." So that's basically what happened. So yeah, met a few of the other people there and things. There was quite a bit of a language barrier between some of the people that I met and some of the people there wasn't. So it was easier to chat to some than others. But
Tell
yeah,
me you were on the action camp just because of the point you were all told to meet and you kind of figured it all out? Or did you go, there's a bloke with a Chan Barnet or a bloke with a Chan t-shirt? You know, what clues did you have? Or because there are probably people everywhere. How do you know they're on the same thing?
Do you know what, right? Because there was other people who was meeting at the same point. Because there's a massive kind of like almost like a giant screen that we had to meet by and stuff, or underneath. And so there was quite a few people that was there, and some were there for the stunt camp and some wasn't. But it was the energy, man. It felt like, do you know what it felt like? It felt like when you in the old school movies, well, even old school, so like Bloodsport, where everybody just or even Enter the Dragon, where people just turn up and they just feel each other's vibe and energy. And it was like
knapsack on and all that.
Yeah, yeah, right. So it was literally that, in terms of you're looking around and just feeling out people's energy and things, and like you catch somebody's eye and be like, "You here for the JC Stunt Camp?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah," and yeah, it just kind of like went like that, really.
Yeah, it's sort of congregated naturally by, and the more of you together, then you can sort of point someone else out. Are you here for that as well? And
Yeah.
same place, same time, and yeah, brilliant. I love it. And then so you sort of started making acquaintances right from that point then.
Yeah, right from that point. And then from there we all caught the minibus over to the hotel, and then we kind of like met some more the people who were at the hotel that had already arrived before us and things. And we kind of like just had the first day was kind of like just us kind of just getting settled into our accommodations and things, because the camp day started the next day. So it was all kind of like about everybody had to be in Beijing by the day that I arrived, ready to start tomorrow. But some people arrived first thing the next morning, ready, literally off the plane, straight into the camp.
Well, this is good. This is interesting. Now, I've just realised while you're chatting, there's something I've forgotten. Well, I've forgotten. There's something that I've noticed, and I thought I've got to ask him about it because I don't know if there's any association. But what's that T-shirt?
So this T-shirt is one of the T-shirts we were given to train in the JC Stunt. So yeah, so I don't know how much you can see of that. But,
JCST Action Film Training Centre. Brilliant.
That's right. And then we've got on the back.
Oh my God, I didn't know there was a back print. Look at that. It's the logo.
Yep.
Yes. That's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, man. So we got one in black and we got one in blue. Huh?
Sleeve.
Oh yeah, that's just that kind of like the branding on that sleeve.
Okay, all right. And this is some sort of sweat wicking technology lightweight kung fu top. I could see. Right, mine's all thick. I'm sweating hot here. Right.
Yeah.
It's actually hot here for once. Well, even though I don't like it, but now I'm boiling hot. So I can see you've got a training. That's built for training, not just the bloke. Yeah, the T-shirt and the bloke in the T-shirt, but the T-shirt itself is built for kungas, isn't it?
Yeah. We were both built for kung.
Yeah. There you go. Fantastic. Brilliant. And you were given that as soon as you got there, or did you get that sent to you beforehand so you could turn up?
So on the evening of the first night that we arrived, we had kind of like a briefing in the evening, and kind of like we went through kind of like some of the kind of like etiquette and do's and don'ts of the camp. And while we were there, we got issued some stuff, and these T-shirts were some of the stuff got issued. So we got one in black and we got one in blue. So so basically, and the the hotel that we were staying at, it was specifically picked because it had great laundry facilities. So if like possible, we'd be wearing one on one day, washing another the next day, and then just alternating. But you could wear like other T-shirts, but there were certain days where it's like, no, you have to come wearing the blue T-shirt, or you all have to come wearing the black T-shirt, or you can come in whatever. So there were certain days where we had to kind of like wear certain ones. And so that's why the hotel was picked, so we could stay on top of washing, because it got hot. And
right.
so
you could there were days where you didn't have to wear this top, but this is kind of your uniform.
Yeah. So we could, there were days where we could just wear what we wanted. as
Okay,
well.
you got that one in your welcome pack. You got that one in your size, and the blue one's in my size, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what size you are. You know what I mean?
Well, I know you might have had restricted access, but you could have found out. But you never mind. Never mind. You could have found out before you went. But we didn't know. You're right. Next time. But listen, I
Yep.
squeezed into it, right? Just because I have to. But even so, you've been wearing it, and it's all sweated out, isn't it? It's all.
Yeah. It's got authentic kung fu sweat all up in it
Oh,
and
so I
stuff.
want it even more now. Don't make it sound even better, right?
Yeah.
It's got the essence of Chan in there as well now.
Yeah. All around it. All around it. Yeah.
And you've got a bit. You're growing a bit of a Chan Barnet there as well, right?
I don't know if it's a Chan
Yeah,
bar.
do you know what I mean? I'm doing more length.
Yeah. See, it's all coming. Look at this.
Right?
Yeah.
We're
Trying
all
to be a bit
doing
more of
it
a
as
Chan
well.
pro.
Yeah, yes, why not? So this is interesting though. So you've got a little bit of a uniform. You can wash it and wear it, and you've got a black one and a blue one. And there's days where you can wear whatever you want. Are those days wearing whatever you want? Are they less active days, or is it just because they know they only gave you 2 t-shirts?
I think what it was like if there was either we had certain guests in, or if there were certain times when we kind of like were going to be filmed or making an impression.
Okay.
We definitely had to, like, so for example, when we were on the first day at the camp, we all had to wear the same color t-shirts because we all wanted to present ourselves in the best form possible as a unit, even though we'd only just met. It's kind of like turning up, and everybody has to put a uniform on to show
Yeah.
respect and everything to
No, I
walk
like
to the.
that. I like that, right? Discipline. We've said this before, martial arts discipline and what it teaches you. And this is just one of those things. You're turning up, you're going to take it serious. You're here to have fun, but at the same time, let's have it proper. And that's what we like, right? It's martial
Yep.
arts. At least,
Mm-hmm.
the base of it, the core of it is still martial arts based. So we like that. Plus, we're in a different country as well, right? There are going to be all sorts of things involved here. So you've got to be on your best behavior. Black and
Yeah.
blue, maybe that's on purpose. Black and blue, like black and blue, you end up black and blue. Or you seem all right now, but you might have had a bit of time to heal up. So yeah, you never know. They might have gone, yeah, you'll actually be black and blue after a while. So just tell me now then. So you got there, you got your, let's call it a welcome pack, right?
Yeah.
Got your t-shirt and this, that, and the other. Then what? You've just got off a plane. Do you get to go? Oh no, you didn't get that straight away off the plane, did you? Was that the next morning when all the last minute bloke? Is that when you got your welcome pack, or did you get it?
No, we got our welcome packs the evening of the day that I arrived. So I kind of like I arrived in the morning, and so we kind of like had the daytime to kind of like just chill out, relax, try and catch up with some sleep, explore the area that we were in and things, and then in the evening we had the briefing, and then we got given the welcome pack in the briefing.
Okay, well, let's talk about explore the area. You had the chance to explore the area, but you were tired. I understand that, but there's no way the excitement didn't give you the energy to go and have time to explore the area. So, a couple of things. Did you, one of these people that you kind of connected with, did you grab one of them, or 2 of them, or 3 of them, or go on your own? And did you have a little look around? Did you have a sniff about?
Yeah, there was a bunch of us that went out, and also like I think one of the people that we explored with, it was me too. No, one of the people we'd explored with, they'd done the stunt camp the year before in its first year, so they kind of like knew it. So we almost had like a tour guide basically. So yeah,
Okay,
so we
well,
were
you knew
able
some stuff, yeah.
yeah. So we kind of like able to wander around. He kind of like showed us where a couple of supermarkets were and things like that, and where the banks were if we needed to get some money out, and some of the food places, and like a pharmacy, obviously, because we needed protection from the mosquitoes and all that kind of stuff. So just yeah, we got our bearings the first day really.
So actually, I've got a couple of things to ask about that. Okay, so this is a fella that was been on it twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this chap, right?
Mhm.
Now, is he on it the second time just because he got lucky, or is it one of those things where you fouled on the first attempt, but it's all right, you can come back free of charge?
No. No,
I'm just checking.
he literally had such a great time that he wanted to come back again. And there was a few people. There's quite a few second timers as well, actually, to be honest, that had
Really?
such a great time that decided that they, what to come back and do it. But also, it was an opportunity to show kind of like the team how much they've learned and grown in that year as well. So you can think about, okay, you've had your training, now go away, train by yourself for a year, and come back and show the master what you learned. So that there's that kind of vibe to it as well.
Well, that's good. And these people, it sounds to me like they were not using it like, oh, I've done this before. Now I know it all. They were being very, again, kind with their time and taking around, showing you things and making it easy, making it a bit more easy for you to get sort of acquainted with what it's all going to be about. Kind of a good thing,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah, totally. And what was great about this is kind of like there was no ego in terms of, oh, I'm better than you because I've been here before or anything like that. It was literally just a case of, oh, brother, so this is kind of like what my experience was last time. I don't know if it's going to be the same this time,
Mm.
but this is kind of like what my takeaways were from the last kind of trip and things like that. So it was really great in terms of the second timers basically showing us kind of like first timers the ropes and just giving that knowledge because they understood that we're all in this together, really.
Yeah, and don't know what to expect, and it's your first time, and they felt like that before, and it's great.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't help but think, not in a bad way, so don't take it in a bad way, but they're taking someone else's opportunity, someone else's spot because they've been before. I My impression is, and I do not know this, is that there would be too many applicants for the amount of spaces. So let's just say there's 10 spaces. My guess is, but there's 50 people that wanted to go. So the fact that there's more than one returner, that it's not a bad thing at all, and it's good for them. It's just quite surprising. That's all.
Yeah, I feel yeah. I mean, like I say, I don't know in terms of fully the thinking behind the process and bringing people
Hmm.
back, but I think it's a case of, again, I think with the JC Stunt Team, like one thing they wanted to do is they wanted to kind of like understand who's out there in the world that they haven't come across before.
Yeah.
But two, it's also about like cultivating relationships, and kind of like seeing because like what it's like, kung fu is work done over time, right? So it's kind of like, okay, well, maybe part of it is, well, this is what they were like in year one. Let's see what their growth has been like in year two and things like that to kind of like
Yeah.
see, what their spirit is like as well. I
I
guess, but
think that's a good
again,
point.
I can't fully comment on that because I'm not part of the selection process. But
Sure. No, I
from the
appreciate. I
vibe and
appreciate.
energy that I got, that was what I'd more so lean towards.
Yeah, I mean, I just bring those things up because they're things that come up. They're just the way. It's just the way I think. It's mean no disrespect to any of the others. I think it's great that they got to go back, and I think it's brilliant that there is an opportunity to go back rather than go. No, you've been before. You can't come back because I'm sure that they would have that in the selection process and go, no, we're happy to have this person back again because. And
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very good point you raise. They want to see, they haven't totally nurtured that person because that person has obviously already been involved in stuff and has some knowledge and skill before they go there. But it is good for them to have them back and go, right, let's see what you've done since you came last time, what you've learned, how you've applied it. So yeah, there will be. That's a very good point. That would make sense.
Mm.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
all right, all right, okay, right, we're done. We was going to do chats, but anyway, before I forget, you said you. No, hang on, you definitely want to do chats.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Well, no, I
No.
was just gonna say that also that evening that we arrived, we also had a big meal together um, in like a big restaurant. So we took over the top floor of this restaurant basically, and I think there was like over 30 of us that were there. So it was the stunt camp group participants. There's like 30 of us, and then there was obviously some of the organizers that kind of like arranged a stunt camp. So we were all together, and again, it was just an opportunity to get to know each other and just connect
Yeah.
with other people, really. So that was
Yeah,
really
as
good.
well. Some of the team that you're going to be working with, not just the participants, but some of the trainers and stuff. They were there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the like interpreters. So no one from the official JC stunt team was at that meal, but there were kind of like other people that work with the JC stunt team that were at that meal. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it certainly does. Yeah. So this meal that you had,
Mhm.
I mean, that's it. I mean, we're in Beijing, China here. We're with all these people. One question was answered in that little thing, so we don't need to harp on it. 30 people, 30 of and you and another 29, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we've got that now. So we now know there's 30 people that go on this camp, or there at least was this time. You can't just say I had a meal in Beijing and that's it. I mean, was it any good? I mean, it's got
Yeah,
they're gonna want to impress. It's got to be must have been amazing. Or were you one of those types that are a bit scared to eat because you know you got to do the kung fu the next day, right? Okay,
nah,
you know then.
man.
Tell
Yeah,
me.
not
Tell me
me,
about
man.
that.
Like, I'm one of those guys. You can put a Sunday dinner in front of me, and I'll still get up and jump around. Like, I'm cool with that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I'll take a nap if the opportunity's there. But if I need to go and do my thing, I'm gonna do my thing. So yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm all about fully indulging in the experience that I'm in. And so, of course, when I'm in China, I'm going to be, trying out the food and stuff. So yeah, the food was delicious. It was wonderful. There was like so many like different dishes that was going on. So it's kind of like almost like family style where you got to try a bit of everything really and
Oh,
things.
that's
And
the
then
best,
like,
isn't it?
yeah, yeah, it was so nice. I think the most exotic thing we tried was like camel, which obviously I was a bit a bit surprised at because
Mm.
I thought it tastes better than it did. It didn't. It was
I've
either that.
never
That was just
known. I've never heard that before. You know, I've heard lots of different things. We don't need to go through the list. Not that I've eaten them, but you know, I have heard lots of people say different things that have been there. You know,
yeah,
alligator, crow, all sorts of changes. But
yeah.
camel, it doesn't even seem. There's obviously not obviously, but I would presume it's an imported meat. Right,
Mm.
I don't know, unless there are camels. I don't know. I just see camels as desert. I don't know, do I? But you know, I just don't see it as maybe they breed camels there. But of all the weird
Yeah,
things,
well,
why
in
camel?
there's been a few kung fu films where I think there may be one or two camels in the desert parts of China in the movie. So, but yeah,
I've got two, but I don't think that was shot in China.
well, no, I've got two. Like, oh gosh, I can't remember. I'll have to come back to you on some of those films. But they're more like new schoolish films. But yeah, but anyway, like the camel came in like a pancake, um, and it was like I said, it was just a bit bitter. That was all.
Mm.
Just a bit bitter tasting. But like the other stuff was well nice. Like the chicken in China tastes different to the chicken here. Just in terms of like how it's just the taste, the texture, just tastes so much richer and so much better. To be honest, yeah, gorgeous food. Um, but yeah, I mean, we ended up. Uh, we'll get to what I ended up eating on like the last day
Okay.
later.
Yeah, as
We'll
we
put a pin
go
in
through.
that for now. But yeah. But yeah, the food was great. The food was top notch. Oh, that was the other thing. Like also, people kept saying, "Oh, you have to try the Pizza Hut here, or you have to try the Domino's there and stuff." And I was like, "What?" And I didn't come all the way across the world just to try freaking pizza and damn Domino's and stuff. But I did try Domino's one day, and oh my gosh, it was
That's
it
fine.
was the best Domino's I've ever had in my life. I really can't believe it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just different out there in terms of taste. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember in Hong Kong, I went to KFC, and that was different. The
Mm,
chicken looked different. I mean, it was the same enough, as in the coating was the same. It looked like a KFC, but it weren't. It was different. You know,
yeah,
the
right.
meat had a different color. Um, Not a bad color or anything. I'm just saying it had a bit of color to it. And obviously they had all these different drinks. Now we might be able to buy things like melon Fanta and all that there. But when I first went there, which was I don't know some time ago, 99, I think, something like that, there was all these different types of drinks and everything in there. I was like, this is brilliant, you know, grape Fanta. It might be normal now, but it weren't then, so it was different. Pizza, a Domino's one. Wow. Now the
Yeah.
Chinese that you had, the Chinese grub you had, any
Yeah.
similarity to the Chinese you would have in a takeaway around the corner from your house? Or are we talking about, is that, you know, are we talking about, is that English man takeaway and right?
Yeah. That's English, like even
Redesigned.
I think a lot of it's been designed for English people's palates. Not to say that you probably can't get that stuff over in China, but yeah, the food over in China is better than the Chinese food that I've had here. There are a couple of places near here that kind of like come a little bit close, but yeah, it's just on a different level. The food is incredible. Yeah, man, the food's great.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. Now I have this impression that, given that it's Chan and that he sort of don't do things by half, let's put it that way, that he's going to have this big, massive unit full of stuff, and we'll get there because we haven't entered there yet. We're still outside. We're a restaurant. We're still outside. We're still exploring the area. Remember, I'm doing this. I'm going through it. Right? I'm still exploring the area. But my brain tells me, because he needs such a large facility in my head, that there's nothing there. We're in the middle of greenery, forest, whatever, fields. But you're telling me, I know you didn't tell me how far away, but you're telling me now there was a pharmacy. You've just told me you had a Domino's. So, but I can't imagine it being in a city. So, what was the setup like, as in the area you were in? Not that you're a geography bloke and you're going to know that much about it. I know you had your head in the game. You were there to train. But thinking back, what sort of area is it like? Industrial estate? I thought it'd be an industrial estate, but in wicked surroundings with grass and trees and monkeys and stuff. You know what I mean?
So, like, obviously, I can't disclose too much about the area in terms of where it's situated and this stuff, because it's a secret location. It's his home, so I can't disclose that much.
Location, no, but what it's like, what it's like.
Yeah. So, and there's like main roads, right by it, and there's not like a lot of foresty areas, if you get me. There's a few high rises kind of close by, but there is a lot of space near it as well, if that makes sense, because it's like near a main road. There's a lot of space near it, and obviously it's not advertised as Jackie Chan's Stunt Team.
Right, there's no next
because,
because
it's his home. Do you know what I mean? Because can you imagine if it was like just a big old sign that was just plastered there out front? How many people would just be camping out there all the time? Yeah, totally. So within that kind of context, it's very well hidden. Like, you would walk past it and you wouldn't even realize it's the facility.
See, now this is why asking questions is good, because that is not the impression I had. But given what you've said, the fact that it's his home or doubles as his home, he don't want to advertise it. But my impression is that from that motorway or road, there's this massive silver tin with this Jackie logo on it, and you go, hang on, brilliant. There's Chan. I've got to go over there, but it's not like that.
No, definitely not at all. Definitely not. Yeah, you'd not. You'd walk past. In fact, we walked past it. We didn't realize we'd walked past it when we were exploring. It's kind of like, it's literally like that incognito.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, this is interesting. But now you know about it. Was you blindfolded?
No. I know my way there. Yeah. Definitely. I know my way there. Like, no fucking blindfolds going on here. Yeah. I know my way.
Okay, So you've explored the area. You've had some grub. You've been welcomed. You've got your T-shirt and everything. We're all good to go. Then you turn up. What time are we talking here? Again, I feel like it's some sort of army discipline thing. What's the meeting time in the morning? Are we talking no, out of bed 6 a.m. or is it a bit more normal?
No. And just I just want to point out something now. So the camp experience is likely to change every year. So it will be a different experience for those who went last year, and be a different experience for those who will come next year, and things like that. They're always wanting to try new things and tweak certain things and stuff. So I just put that out. So all I can talk about is my experience. Now, I can't say this is what it's going to be like every year, because it won't be like that. But I can give you what it was like in 2024. I can give you that. So yeah, in this, within this context, obviously it was actually, we'd have to meet at, I think it was 8:45 a.m. at the hotel, and then we'd all walk down to the main place, and yeah, it was great. Like, everybody was so hyped on the first day. We were all just like raring to go. We didn't know what to expect. We really didn't know what to expect.
Exciting,
Yeah. And like, you know, we're all looking at each other, and we chat to each other and stuff, and we're all sizing each other up a bit. Not like pretend, oh, I'm better than them, but just okay. Oh, so that's your style, is that's what you do? Okay, that's what. Okay, cool. So just kind of getting a feel for people and
Any
stuff.
nerves at this point?
I was just at this point, I was just excited.
Natural,
I was,
isn't
yeah. I was just excited in terms of I don't know what to expect, so I'm just going to try and remain as open as possible for this.
it? Yeah.
I'm not here to compete with anybody. I'm here to learn, and that's it. Because my reason for going was to get as much knowledge as I could to come back and put it into my films. So for me, everybody I'm looking at them as my peers that, you know, I could potentially be working with. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for me, it didn't make no sense to go in there already looking to compete with any of them. It was more like, okay, you know, as far as I'm concerned, all these people in the space, these are great people. They're obviously of a certain standard to have even got on this, because there was quite a few people apparently that didn't make it on.
Yeah.
You know, we were apparently the top 30 selected from throughout the world for that year. So again, within that kind of context, it's like, okay, I know there's a certain standard here that's been achieved.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, so great. These are all people that, you know, I can hopefully work with in the future, either on my projects or on their projects, or you never know what could happen in 5, 10, 20 years time, you know. So
Right.
it was
Yeah.
literally like that was my mindset going in. So at that point, I wasn't nervous. I was just excited and curious.
Excellent. Yeah. And you were chatting on the way, you're saying. So you're talking to people. Was there
Mm.
anyone there that could say to you, yeah, I love Chan, I love his films, or, you know, I do this kung fu? I mean, what sort of chats are we saying here? And
Yeah, well,
how many nationalities? I'm not saying you counted, but you said that there was some with some language barriers and stuff. And, you know, how do you
yeah.
even get around that? But how many different people did you sort of
Oof.
meet from different places? Name a few of the countries that people were from.
Oh gosh. So obviously you had quite a few people from the states that was there. So you had guys from like LA, Vegas, New Mexico, um, Atlanta. You also had people that were there from Belgium. I think there's one cat was there. Where is he from? Eastern European country. Um, I think maybe in Czech Republic.
Okay.
Then you had cats there from Russia, and then oh gosh, I'm trying. Japan was there as well in the house. Canada, like there was there was quite a mix of people from like all over the world.
Yeah.
And it was yeah, it was great, kind of like hearing their own kind of like journey. But you know, the one thing that united us was we all love Jackie Chan movies and Jackie Chan and things. You know, some to varying degrees in terms of how much of a fan they were. You know, there's not many that were super geeks like how we're super geeks, but there were a few that were like really super geekish as well at the same time. So yeah,
Yeah.
Australia was another one. There's quite a few people from Australia. I think Malaysia or Singapore as well. So
Okay.
yeah, all over,
Yeah, all
all over.
over. Yeah.
Yeah,
See, that's how far this bloke. We know that he's a worldwide bloke, and he has been for absolutely ages. But yeah, it's
yeah.
brilliant that these people love it that much. So
Mm,
so you said there was a few super geeky, you know.
yeah.
I mean, you know, thanks for putting me in that camp. It used to be at school, people would have called me a geek. I wouldn't have been offended because I don't care, but that would have been said of me as derogatory term. But that sounded very welcoming, and I appreciate being in the super geeky camp. Thanks for that. So what did you find out any things that they liked, like films? Because recently I've been having chats with lots of different people through this and lots of different ages, and I'm starting to discover their sort of entrance into watching Jackie Chan and stuff. And I started off being a little bit surprised, but I'm getting used to it now, you know. So this guy Stephen Ainge told me, yeah, the first film that got him into Jackie Chan was Shanghai Noon. I was like, Shanghai Noon? You know, what happened there? But it just goes to show, and you've mentioned this before when I spoke to you before, that he's there for different periods and different people, and to get him into it at different times. And then they've got the back catalogue if they want to go back. So was
Yeah.
there anyone who's into the old ones, you know, that I mean?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
quite a few heads that was into the old school stuff. There
Mm.
was also quite a few that actually got their entry point in from Rumble in the Bronx.
See? Yeah. And
Yeah,
understandable, right? Massive successful film all
yeah.
over the
And they,
place. Yeah.
yeah, and you know, some that got their entrance point to Rumble in the Bronx, they then went back to the old ones and loved up the old ones and became, you know what I mean, a huge fan for the old stuff. But yeah, Rumble in the Bronx was quite a few heads as kind of like entry points.
Yeah, it's funny though, right? I guess that's where the age comes into it. We see that as a new Chan. I mean, ain't
Yeah,
ain't new no more. It's like, oh yes, one of those new Chans. It's like, well, it ain't new anymore,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's good. I love the impact that he has, and I mean, Rumbling Bronx is a good example because that's a good film. But you know, someone will tell me that um, like a guy Tim I was speaking, Tim Hollingsworth, I was speaking to the other about Jackie Chan, you know, and he's watched the Spy Next Door loads, and he likes
Yeah.
the film because he watches it with his kids. I also like that film. I got no issue with that film either,
Yeah.
but he's mentioning that, so that could be their intro. But what I like about it is that even the films that we would go, "Oh, that's not proper Chan" or whatever, they still don't they don't put the person off of Chan. As a matter of fact, it's what they like. There's still that, you know, he has that thing, that
Yeah.
essence, that soul, that bit of magic in
Mm-hmm.
there. No matter what era of Chans you look at, I know because I watch Spy Next Door and go, okay, this ain't a proper Chan, but I watch it and go, but it's still got aspects. He's still there, you know. So I see why people love it. Whereas sometimes I might go, I don't watch that one, you know, Tuxedo or something, because then you'll think he's crap.
Yeah.
There ain't many I don't like. I mean, is there any that you genuinely don't like? I can't think of many. I don't really like Tuxedo. I never did. I haven't watched it for a long, long time. I never liked The Medallion. Was another one that I don't really like this one. But is there any that you think are terrible and you would suggest to someone, do not watch this as your first Chan because you'll never watch any others? Is there any that you really don't like?
Do you know? Do you know what? Like, I think I think when you said earlier on, like they've all got something about because they're all Chan, right? In terms of they got his energy. So I think within that kind of context, like I do I do like the vast majority of them. Some I won't watch because they're just not my favorite. I have my go-to Jackie Chan films, obviously, and like, but like I remember, like as a kid, I didn't like The Protector when that came out. I didn't like that, and then I think it was because it was the Western Cup, you know, because obviously we've gone back and watched the end fight again when it was like reshot for Hong Kong, and
Yeah.
it my opinion of that changed, it improved, but I didn't like the Protector.
Very
What?
understandable because we talk about essence, energy, the
Yeah,
Chan in there, the spirit of Chan. He's still there. And I always say with Protector, it's not a film I hate, and I still grew up watching it loads because we didn't have loads, right? We were kind
yeah,
of almost up to date. So when that came out, it was kind of the new Chan. We didn't then
mm,
go, yeah, but there's 50 others after it. No, that was the latest Chan. So you watched it and
yeah.
you were getting your Chan fix, if you like, and you could go back and watch the old one. So I still watch that film a lot. But
Mm,
even though I wasn't that well versed onto why it was different, I knew it was different because it was an American Chan.
mm,
But I don't truly know much about it. I'm just watching the new Chan. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't like that pretty much straight away he swore. That was completely
mm,
against what
yeah,
Chan
yeah,
was for me, what I grew up watching. It looked unnatural. It sounded unnatural. It felt unnatural. I didn't want that from him. It had
mm,
nudity in it, which, okay, I was a young boy. Of course, I liked it, but I didn't like it in that. It's not
yeah,
what I want
yeah,
from a Chan. So I went, don't put nudity. I mean, it had, didn't just have the top. I mean, it had nudity in it, right? And I just
yeah,
went, no, yeah, of course I like this stuff, but not here. I don't want this in. Don't ruin my Chan. That's when I
yeah,
started to really, right. Yeah, but I'm just saying, right?
yeah,
I got to be honest about it. And I just think that with that, that's when I can go, nah, this ain't, you don't know Chan and you're proving it. You're asking him to swear and you're
mm,
asking, he wouldn't have nudity in it if it was his film. I know that because I've
yeah,
seen bucket loads of them. Drugs, and obvious drugs. You know, a lot of people go, yeah, but there's drugs in Dragons Forever. Yeah, I know there is, but they, you know, it's just not as obvious. This is obvious, you know. Yeah, so there's reasons why I still enjoyed that film. I still liked it. Obviously, when I had a crusty quoll Japanese copy that had the fights with the sound effects and stuff like that, so I knew there was another version out there, and it was far improved. But I still watched it loads. But yeah, there's reasons why Protector. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I understand, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I feel you. But yeah, like, but I think the thing is,
Is that why you didn't? Why didn't you like Protector? Because all you've said so far is, yeah, I didn't really like Protector. But
yeah, I didn't like it just because
as a kid, and you said that as well. I didn't like
yeah,
Protector as a kid.
because I think it was just too far. It was too far separated from what I was used to in terms of Jackie's stuff. Like, for all the reasons that you've mentioned, but even like the fight choreography and things like that, it didn't feel like it had the same kind of like style to it. I felt like Jackie was very restricted on that project. So yeah, I just know as a kid, for me, it just wasn't my vibe. And as well, like
Yeah.
my uncles, they were like, "Oh, Protector's rubbish, man." So maybe that influenced me as well a bit. But yeah, like yeah, I wasn't really feeling that. And I loved the old school stuff. You know, set in ancient China. So you know, give me at that time Fearless Hyena or Snake and Crane Arts of Shaolin, or Shaolin Wooden Men. Obviously, Drunken Master Technique with Shadow, those ones as well. But for me, that was that was my thing. It's like that for me. That was charming. Even like Battle Creek Brawl, like you know that was better than Protector. I felt like like it was still very Western. And obviously, I was as a kid when I watched the Cannonball runs, I just wanted more of Jackie in that, but it wasn't his film, you know. Yeah. So those ones. But in terms of what you touched upon, in terms of them all being Jackie. Now, this because you know one thing we also had like a bit of acting coaching while we were there, and basically the teacher was saying Jackie is a much better actor than a lot of people give him credit for, and he always has been, and she's right, and I think so that is the thing that kind of like was the thread that held all together for Jackie's stuff. That goes beyond his action. It's how he portrayed each character, and there was still a depth. And if you go back and if you like study, his acting ability, sure, it's gotten better as time's gone on, but that's because I guess he's doing less of the physical stuff and he's going more down this serious route because he's still trying to grow and evolve, right? He's never as a finished product. He's still growing and evolving. But even back then, you can still see the emotion he puts into those films. I mean, like on Young Master when he cusses out his master and he's bawling his eyes out and stuff like that. You can, yeah.
Even when you're watching it in English dub, it didn't matter. You could see the acting. Me and my bro always used to discuss that scene and go, man, we actually know that's not his voice. We know that there's another bloke acting, but you could see it. Big veins in his neck and the red face and the sweaty barnet and the cries because there's so much emotion in that. It's fantastic. We always knew. Then later on we watched it, in Cantonese and whatever, and was like, it is much improved, but it never ruined it. We always knew, hang on, he's brilliant acting, because we'd always bring that one and go, what about that? What about that wicked acting, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Stop
so,
right? He's getting beat, he's watching his teammate or his classmate get beat and all that, and brilliant. He's on his knees taking it all, and eventually just snaps and but no. Enough of this. Yeah, it's wicked, man.
That's it, really thank you for taking care of us for so many years.
That's right. And he turns around,
that's
right. The way he walks out as well is like, I just want to say, and he just he's wicked, well, let's stick on that, right? Because we love this stuff. Any other? It don't matter what period we're talking here. Any other Chan, standout acting bits that you that you can go, wicked acting, because it don't have to. It can be you know this, because you make films, you choreograph films, you're in films, you act in films, and there's no way that you don't act when you're fighting.
Oh yeah,
You're still
100%.
acting, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. Right? So if you want, you can pick something out and go, oh, I like the acting in this fight. It doesn't have to be a drama scene. But is there any other Chan acting you can pick out that you go, this is a good one? If people think he can't act, go and check this out.
Yeah.
I think Young Master,
Yeah.
that scene is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to
Any
go
others?
if you want to go like modern, because we've gone back in the day. If you want to go more modern, The Foreigner. The Foreigner is a great film for his acting in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And English
Yeah.
language, speaking English as well. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. Like, so within that, like, there's so much nuance going on in his in his facial expression and in his eyes and stuff. And even there's certain moments where, I mean, it's been a little while since I've seen, but there's certain moment I
Yeah,
could
me
just
too.
remember the expression on his face when he's just like that expression is there for a lot of the film and stuff. And you can tell it's kind of like there's a man who's like broken on the inside, and that's the thing. It's like you can really feel the, like I say, the nuance, but the internalization of that character. Like, he embodied that character like a motherfucker, man. Like, really did. So I'd say, yeah, The Foreigner was another like standout performance for me. I thought
Yeah.
that was incredible.
I agree with that, because that was one where I would never be embarrassed to sit and watch a Chan with someone. But there
Mm,
would be a lot of people that go, oh, rubbish acting, listen to English dub and whatever, and say rubbish acting. That was one where I could sit there and, he totally held his own. He didn't look out of place. He was brilliant in it. And, there was no more, oh, he's crap acting, because he was good. I never thought his
yeah.
acting was crap. Even in, what do they call it? It's called something like Police Story Lockdown. It's like Police
Yeah,
Story 5 or something like that, I think. And that's got some wicked cries scenes in that. He's good. You know what? He's good at cries. And
yeah,
the
yeah,
scene
yeah,
that people find tough, right? The whole
yeah,
emotional cries. It's
yeah.
wicked.
Well, look at First Mission, or Heart of Dragon
Oh,
as
yeah, good
well.
one.
What I mean? Like that film, like that in that film, like, that's really emotional.
Mhm.
With Jackie, there's no comedy to be seen anywhere in his character, really. You may have a couple of moments, but for the most part in that film, he's playing that older brother who's literally, you get an insight into what it can be like, to have somebody really depend on you, and you're wanting to do other things in your life, but you've got this responsibility, so you can't go out and do that.
Yeah.
And again, I think he embodied that really, really well in that film.
Yeah, there's a great scene, isn't there, when they're in the apartment and there's some brilliant cries, him and Samo, and that's a proper one. It turns from emotional to angry to breaking down and going, well,
Yeah,
no matter what, yeah, sorry about that, because no matter what, it ain't changing. I'm always here for you, and these are the
yeah,
cards I've been dealt, and I gladly accept that. So there's a good roller coaster of that one, because he's really angry
yeah.
at one point, but yeah,
Yeah, 100%. And the dynamic
yeah,
changing one as well, because after, like, he flips out at Samo, obviously he's all upset and crying, and then Samo has that really tender moment when he comes up and he holds his face. So it's like he's now taking care of his big brother, and I'm getting choked up about it now. Do you know what I mean?
You
But
know what? It's true. I was getting a bit done thinking I might have to, move on to some action or something. Because honestly, I
yeah,
didn't know you was feeling the same, but genuinely, as I
yeah,
was thinking about it, you sort of bring things into your own life and whatever, and I was, yeah,
mhm,
I never got done when I watched that film at the time. I didn't have this, but now we're even watching it. We're chatting about it. It's nice to hear, because yeah, no joke. I was definitely struggling with it, thinking I'm getting a bit done here. Yeah,
yeah. Honestly,
true,
yeah,
man.
because
Yeah,
it does, because and that's the thing, like, with a lot of Jackie's movies, there is a lot of relatability, to you can relate to his characters. I think that's why, he is such a big hit, because he shows vulnerability in almost all his films. He shows like vulnerability,
yeah.
and
Even in the
that,
fighting, right?
yeah,
Punches
yeah,
him and
yeah,
gets hurt. It's vulnerability. Yeah, good point.
yeah, exactly. He shows that vulnerability, and that's what people can relate to. There's certain people that look for like a superhero figure like Bruce Lee, and then there's certain people who who like to see themselves mirrored a little bit more in terms of, okay, right, well, I'm not tough all the time, and there are moments where I do feel vulnerable, or I just feel downtrodden, and I'm the underdog here, and I just need someone to help me get through it. And then it's like, oh, this guy, he just training his ass off, and he goes from not being very good and being vulnerable and being beaten up to being able to whoop everybody's ass after some training. So if he can have that strength within, so can I.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
again, there's depths to a lot of his stuff.
yeah. And I like the way you brought that. I didn't particularly remember the touching the face bit, tables turning, realizing that he does have the ability to care for his older brother, even though he's been cared for by him. Yeah, that the tables could turn. It's like, well, now you need me, and I'm always going to listen. I can't chat about this, Nathan.
I know, man. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I
Yeah,
know what you mean.
it's
Yeah,
I've got a brother as well. I'm struggling with it. Is the truth, right? But in a good way.
yeah.
It's not a bad thing, but yeah. It's and it's good, right? Because people would tell me that he's Jackie Chan, chop socky martial arts bloke, and we're both sitting there. We're going to do cries in a minute. So,
Yeah.
right, you know what I mean? So it ain't just that. And what we will say is that in that particular film, and you said there's not really comedy moments, and it's got a lot of emotion, and this is why I love these films, because that end fight in that sort of car parky warehousey type thing could have just
Yeah.
been like any last fight of any Chan film, but I, I know they do know these things, but I'm saying that these things are discounted a lot in these films. It's just a kung fu film. It's just a martial arts film, and you can tell when they make it, they don't feel like that. You even
Mm,
notice it or you don't. Yeah, it's got action in it. It's got martial arts in it. It's got Jackie Chan in it. First off, Samo, we know is a
mhm.
brilliant filmmaker, brilliant choreography, an amazing martial artist. He does nothing in there. He
Mm.
doesn't do any
Yeah.
martial arts. No kung fu, no nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
done he's done nothing in there. But that they knew, well, we can't have a normal last fight. It has to match the energy
Mm.
of this film. And it
Yeah. Yeah.
isn't, we talk about the protector and going, it's not what we expect from Chan. Well, I don't expect that from Chan. Pickaxes in the chest and stuff like that either.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
raw, much more violent. However, I did expect it from that character in that
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing fight, right?
Yeah. It's because I think the stakes in that film were so much higher, and
Yeah, I
because it
think
was
there
so.
is actually literal stakes in that one, mate. Yeah. Yeah, good one. That was on purpose. I know it was.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. So because the stakes were raised higher in that film, I think because of the tone of it as well, it kind of it actually kind of needed that.
Yeah.
Um, because it was a very serious tone. Whereas in a lot of his other films, there is a lot of comedy, and like I said, there are comical bits in it with Samo and stuff in the film. But generally, the overall tone of the film is quite an emotional and serious one, and so the action had to, especially in the finale, had to match that. It wouldn't have worked if it was just kind of like more like a high energy, happy energy Jackie Chan finale where he's playing on people's emotions and stuff like that. It just needs to be like, "Ah!" More so.
Yes. Right? There was a different sense of vulnerability in that. Not before, when you mentioned the vulnerability, I brought up the thing that, Chan will hit something and go, ow, or whatever. It's not
Mhm,
that. That wouldn't
mhm.
work in that last fight.
Yeah,
There was different stakes, as you say. So, yeah, amazing fight, darker, grittier, um, much more violent. Bits of wood, bits of
mhm.
metal, pickaxes, hammers, sledgehammer. I mean, it's just and the environment suits that as well. And I'm sure they thought about all this. And this is why we respect these films so much, because we don't just see it as a throwaway martial arts flick. We watch that. And at the time of me watching that, I was only young. I could have seen that as one of these films of, well, this ain't the Chan. But I always loved that film.
Yeah,
Always loved that film.
me too, me too. And even I don't know if you saw there was an interview. I think it may have been in one of the DVD extras and stuff, where he was talking about how that film was the end fight scene was shot quite differently. How it was all dolly shots, And again, Jackie was like so frustrating because it takes so long. Because on the dolly shot, if one thing's out of position as the dolly's moving and things like that, you see the gap, and so you have to start again. And he was like really frustrated with Sam. I was like, "Oh, why have we got to keep doing it like this?" But when he saw the end product, he understood because it has so much more power. How the dollies were set up for it, it just gave so much more power. And so again, that really helped with the tone of the fight and getting that raw energy and power over, because Samo's shooting style for that was just pure dolly for the majority of it and things. So again, even from a shooting perspective, the tone changed in terms of the camera work as well.
Man, the things you learn this far down the line, we watch it and we know, but we don't truly know. You learn about these things now because you're involved in filmmaking as well. You can't always explain these things when you see it, but this is different. And I
Yeah.
love that they did that on purpose, right? Because it truly does show. It's amazing. So yeah, great, man. Thanks for that. Yeah, brilliant. I have got that new Blu-ray and all that, but I haven't even opened it, watched that version. And so who
Yeah.
knows? It's just, for me, it's the old English dub.
Yeah.
No, I did no, I did have another crusty bootleg VHS of that, because that had the bit at the beginning, with the meth in the doctor's thing, and
Mm-hmm.
then the fight in the
Yeah.
car park with Leo saying Mung
Yeah.
Hoi
Yeah.
and that. So I did have another crusty version, and after that I could only watch this real bad qual version because it had 2 extra fight scenes in it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't rewatched the new qual Blu-ray, and look at what I think of the film. So as much
Mm-hmm.
as I like this, we've got a new widescreen Blu-ray in the original language and all that. You know what? You don't need it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You don't need it. We had it then. It would have been in English at first. It would have
Yeah.
been, pan and scan 4x3. It would have been a little bit rough. It would have been on a 14-inch CRT in your bedroom with scan lines. And you know what?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
loved it. We
Yeah.
still loved it.
Yeah. But that's the thing. But even all those things with those VHS elements that you think about, that that's part of your childhood, man. So that's ingrained in the film,
Mm,
and that's why I still go back and I watch my old VHS of Drunken Master, just because of the nostalgia it brings up. And we've spoken about nostalgia before, but with the with the VHSs, again, it takes us back to, I guess, a simpler time for us, maybe, where it was just a case of the whole wonder of just watching the kung fu film and stuff like that and being excited about it and things. And
yeah.
if you got it from the the video shop or whatever, and again, the scan lines will be going up on it because they've chewed it up a bit, or on the end fight, someone's watched the end fight too many times. You're like, fuck's sake, man.
Yeah.
but, that's stuff. We look back on that at the time. We were probably frustrated, like, oh man. But when we think back on it, it's like, yeah, those are great memories and things, because they give us pictures in our minds that reminds us of certain times in our lives.
Well, I'm going to start struggling again, if I'm honest with you, because yeah, you're right. It's those things mean a lot those times. You can really relate to them, and that's why we miss them, and we have so much affection for them. And that's why when we talk to each other about it, and I know that you feel the same, this is why it's so nice to do and why it can be so emotional, right? Because I know from what you're saying that you feel the same, and
Yeah.
that's nice to connect with that. Is not, I don't have to explain it. We chat about it, we have a laugh about it, and it ends up going, yeah, it kind of gets a little bit emotional with it. But this stuff is brilliant, and I think everyone with this stuff at their fingertips, being able to stream it, being able to buy the best qual version of it, it I don't feel for them, because that's their experience that will make them who they are. They'll have
Yeah.
other things in their life. It isn't just about watching kung fu films. We know that, right? They'll have other things. But for me, I look at these things and go, they don't. Those Blu-rays, right? Of course, I'm a customer for them. Of course, I still want them. Of course, I want to see those films in that qual. But they're soulless to me. They don't have soul. They're too good. It's like the end, and you just look at it and go, there's no more to discover, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there
Mhm.
is, because they even ruin them. Some of them ain't even good. Some of them are actually worse. We know that,
Mhm.
right? Some of them are even
Yeah,
worse.
yeah,
They kind of give it to you, and then you just Now what? Never
Yeah.
felt like that. You never felt cheated back then. You always felt like there was more to come,
Yeah.
more to discover, and you were happy with that. And then when you get it all qual, it's like,
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean, and I think, yeah, like with, I mean, with some of the remastering, it's good because you get to see certain quality things or certain details that you wouldn't have seen before, which is
of
great.
course,
But at the same time, though, even having all these new bells and whistles, I still go back to the VHSs. You know, when I can, but I still buy the Blu-rays because I'm like, yeah, let me see what the new extras are. Let me see what else there is. But
yeah,
still, I still go back to the old school because
yes,
that's where my heart's at. You know, and I think that's it. You know, our heart is truly in that kind of like era when it comes to it, because it meant so much to us growing up in that era and having that exposure to it. So, you know, I think that's probably why. I mean, I'm sure this new generation will be like, oh yeah, do you remember when, you know, Netflix would like just cut out on you and you'd have those three red dots and things like that, or you try and mirror it to you and you couldn't mirror it to your phone. Oh, it'd be so frustrating. But they'll look back
Mm,
fondly on those things. So I think
sure.
for that, you know, for that generation, that'll be their kind of like imprinting, I guess. But yeah, love the DVDs, but VHSs is where I'm at.
Well, this is it now. As usual, what we've done is we've gone off on things, but they're not tangents. They're all linked. They're all related to this stuff. Yeah, I've got Chan behind me doing double thumbs up with a stunt camp t-shirt. You've got a stunt camp t-shirt on, and yeah, we've touched on it, but you can't help it, and that's also what I like. Um, we talk about what we want to talk about, and it goes where it wants to go. And to me, that's all good. But I'll try before I start crying to bring it back. Depending on what you chat about next,
Yeah,
I'm going to try and bring it back onto the JC Stunt Camp.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
right, yeah, just to get myself back in check, you know.
yeah. That's
Anyway,
cool. Yeah, I'm sure anybody that tuned in will be like, gosh, just get on to what happened in the JC stunt camp. You're like reminiscing and stuff. Just so
either
yeah,
that, either that, or they're crying as well. You know, we don't know.
yeah,
Depends who's
yeah.
watching.
Yeah, there with the Kleenexes and stuff. Who knows?
Right, you just don't know. So you go there and tell me about your experiences when you get there the first day. Just give me a bit of about what you experienced when you got there, what the structure of the camp was like, how they
Yeah,
eased you in. Did they give you sort of like an initiation, see what you're all about, that kind of thing? You know, tell me about that. You know, was you put on show?
yeah. Okay. So literally, when we got there, we had to just before the main gates opened, we had to make three lines. Um, so we all had to kind of walk in quite uniform in these three lines, and then you go through the gates and you're into like this massive courtyard. And so you got um, one building, but it looks like two in terms of like it's like goes around the corner like that kind of thing. Um, that's kind of like one side, and you got like his garden on the other side. But in this massive courtyard, as we're walking in these three lines, you've got members of the JC Stunt Camp all stood out in the courtyard waiting for us. And what's there is like a table, and well, it's an altar basically. It's an altar with all the fruit, all the incense, and everything. Um,
And proper
and it's,
traditional business, yeah.
yeah, it's all there.
Ooh,
Um, and so we meet kind of like Herlauscher, Hujin, who's kind of like one of the top ranking guys in JC Stunt Camp, and he's the one that was kind of like leading the stunt camp. Well, in JC Stunt Team, but he's one of kind of leading the stunt camp. And obviously, he welcomed us, and he said, "Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we do before every film that we go and shoot." And
mm,
obviously you get the incense, and then you bow to all four corners and everything, you know. And he was saying, you know, a lot of people, they do that, and they think it's to wish for the gods to bring them luck and to wish them kind of like good fortune and good luck. But when we do it, it's for us to wish ourselves and each other good luck. um, and you know, it's to make sure that everybody stays safe on the set. And so whatever project we do, we always start like this. So bring ourselves like to make sure that everything goes smoothly and it's a positive experience. So
Yeah.
yeah, then we had to
Love
go
it.
up. Yeah, right.
Love it. I
Wicked.
love the detail. They didn't. The idea is that you're learning how they do things, and
Mm,
that's an
mm.
element they could have just missed that out and go, no one's bothered about that. This is it's a Chinese thing or whatever, however they can view it, but they didn't. They go, no, this is it. This is how we do it, and that's what you want. You want
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I want that
Yeah.
cultural experience, and it was
Yes.
it was it was beautiful. I mean, you should have seen when I saw the art and he was, I was like, oh yeah, let's go. I'm like, give me
Yeah.
everything.
I bet it
you
did
know?
feel amazing doing that, being part. But that's another thing. It makes you feel like you're part of it, of that whole thing. So the fact that they added that in there just really goes to show where they are with it. So yeah, I'd have loved that.
Yeah.
That's great.
If you want
Yeah.
like a snapshot in my head of what was probably going through my head at that particular moment in time, Dragon Lord, opening scene in
Oh,
Dragon Lord.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Before that
Um,
nutcase game or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, that, like the next level rugby game or whatever it was, but they were all
Yeah.
like,
That
yeah,
game. Next level rugby game. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's right.
But yeah, so from that kind of like that was if there was a snapshot in my mind's eye, that was it. And I guess I could probably relate certain moments to snapshot moments in Jackie Chan films.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
on my
Nice.
process,
Yeah.
and so that was a snapshot moment for that. But yeah, so we all went up. I think it was 3 at a time, if I remember correctly, and we all had to pay our respects and do that. Then after that, went into the main space, and it's incredible. Like to go in there, it's like you walk into the space, and like the first thing you know is this giant green carpet. Now I think if you've seen the Will Smith Karate Kid, I think it's the same carpet that was used in the tournament at the end, basically. From what I've been told, it was.
Okay.
But, I
Nice
may be
touch.
wrong.
Yeah.
It feels like it. It feels like Jackie just got that and just took it. But again, that wouldn't be surprising because as you'll find out, there's a lot of things that he has taken from his films that are in his home, basically.
Mm.
So
Nice.
you have this giant, turquoisey carpet, and then the other striking thing you notice is all the posters of his movies are up on the wall, and you can't even fit all the posters because he's done so many movies. But you go around and there's original posters from like Snake and Eagle Shadow, Drunken Master, Shaolin Wooden Men, Snake and Crane, like any Jackie film that springs to mind is probably up there basically, and it goes right
Yeah.
through to like Wheels on Wheels, My Lucky Stars, Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, Dragons Forever, and then his more modern ones like Who Am I, The Myth, all that stuff like all around. Yeah, you're literally surrounded by all these framed posters
Mm.
of Jackie Chan stuff. So it's
Yeah.
just like,
Fantastic.
yeah. So again, you're like literally just soaking it all up, and again, as you're soaking it all, and you're thinking of like, wow, this man's body of work is incredible. It's more than impressive, because
Mm.
it's literally all laid. Like I said, it's not even all there, but it's laid out in front of you. So much of it is laid out in front of you, and
Yeah.
it's just like, wow. A lot of people, they probably not even have like half of all of their films in terms of their career, but he just got wall to wall all the way around.
And from
So
memory, do you think that they were laid out in any particular order? Were they done from old to new?
it felt like that. It
Yeah.
definitely, it definitely felt like that. I'm not sure if they were all in chronological order, but yeah, like you definitely have, for example, like Snake and Eagle Shadow, Drunken Master, Snake and Crane, like they were all like quite close together on one wall, and then it got, as time went on, it got like more modern and stuff like that as you went
Yeah.
around. So it definitely felt like that. Like I said, I was wondering that at one point. I didn't geek up because I just didn't have the time to be like, okay, is this
No,
what
of
year was
course
this?
not.
What year was this exactly? So
Yeah.
it felt like it was like literally going as the years go by. You were kind of like seeing, his filmography.
Yeah. No, I understand, right? This is easy for me to answer these questions. I'm not there and I'm not having to concentrate on what's about to happen. So, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
I said I can
yeah,
just ask these questions. What about posters and all that? You're not
yeah.
allowed to film those posters. You're not allowed to take pictures of them or anything like that. No.
No, no, no. So at that point in time, they were very kind of like guarded about what you could share and what you could post.
Mm.
because they didn't want certain things to obviously leak out, and they've got, rightly so, they've got a reputation to maintain and things, and there's certain things that are about that you probably wouldn't want people to know the whereabouts of where they are and things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
and so you have to be very mindful about, there were certain things we couldn't photograph, or certain things we couldn't photograph or take footage of until the very last day. And so but in terms of what we got to see, like saw loads of incredible things. Like we got to see where all his awards are and things like that as well.
Mm.
And where he keeps them. That was, again, that was incredible. And then there's kind of like one rack where there's all these kind of like film prop weapons, I guess is the best way to describe
Ooh,
it.
yes, yes,
Lo-
yes. I like
loads
this.
loads of weapons, but even like from like there's old school weapons there, like there's a whole bunch of like staffs and things like that, and spears and stuff, but there's also more new school, old school weapons in terms of from the newer films where there's a lot of military swords and stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
ancient China. So there's a lot of them, and a lot of those swords look really really cool as well, and things like
Mm.
that. But obviously we love the tradition, right? We love the traditional stuff that we see in kung fu
Of
films. So,
course, but we can
yeah.
also understand that this setup has come many years later.
Mm-hmm.
So at the
Yeah.
time, he's able to go, well, I've got that set up now. So this sword from this film, we'll bung that in the shed or whatever it's called. Wherever we want to call this camp, right? We're gonna have it in there. But he weren't thinking that when
Yeah.
he was filming Snake and Crane and had the spears and the tonfa. You know what I'll
Yeah.
do? I'll put these to one side and I'll put them in the big metal scene in China, which I don't even know exists yet. So it's not. It's, you're gonna
Yeah.
see the props and stuff get more plentiful
Yeah.
as I guess the eras go on, right? It just makes
Yeah.
sense. He's got
Yeah.
somewhere home from now, and he's obviously in a different mindset. As back then, he's just making the films, and
Mm. Yeah.
who
Yeah.
knows where the Snake
Completely.
and Crane's spears are? That'd be brilliant to
Yeah.
have them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, mate. Oh, but yeah, like
Oh,
there was so much
mate.
stuff. So, for example, like, so we had we obviously had an introductory talk from some of the members of the JC Stunt Team, and then we had a tour around the facility. So I think we only went up 2 floors though. I think there's probably about 4 or 5 floors in this building. Right. So
Excellent.
we had like all like the living quarters and stuff like that, because some of the stunt team live there and things like that as well. So um, but yeah, so we had a tour of some of the place, and even I say some of the places, the place was still huge in terms of like what we saw. Like there was one place, there was like a bust of, I think it was from Fearless Hyena, like literally a bronze bust, probably like probably as big as me, bit bigger than my torso.
Yeah.
From the iconic like picture, something like that, and stuff. Yeah. So a big bust of him and all his muscles out in that, just the
Yes.
bronze bust he had. From Bleeding Steel, the thing that he loses down with the wheels on his forearms and things.
Ah,
So
yeah.
yeah. So that was there as well. There was just kind of like loads of like Jackie stuff from film. So for example, in the going to the garden, we obviously went to the garden as well. You go into the garden, and even in the garden, like there's stuff from his old movies. So, for example, I think on some of my pictures on social media, you'll be able to see like there's a giant tire that we
Yes,
took pictures
I was going to
outside.
ask you about that. I don't know what that tire is. Oh, actually, I can make a guess, but I don't know what it is. But I
Do
know
you want
there's
me to tell
what's
you,
the
or
film with
do you-
Richard Norton where I'm on the right track, and oh, Tire Track. There is a film that got big wheels in it, and I can't remember which one it is. It's one of those sort of 90s-y. I'm sure it's one of the Richard Norton ones, whether it's Mr. Nice Guy or something like that.
Yeah,
Where's
that's right.
Have I got it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a tough one. When I saw that tire, I didn't know what that tire was. I just presumed, well, you don't just dump a tire there. It's going to
yeah,
be from something. It's only now we're chatting about it. So, okay, let me see if I can get where the tire is from. Yeah. But I guessed it was from a film, but yeah, I didn't
yeah,
know what
that's right.
one or it wasn't
Yeah,
instantly. It wasn't instantly iconic for me. It didn't come
mm-hmm.
in when I saw
Yeah,
it. I didn't go, "That's a tire from that," because it's an era of the films where I didn't watch that hundreds and hundreds of times over and over again. I've seen
yeah,
it
yeah,
plenty. So yeah, it didn't instantly come until now. I've gone right. Where's a big tire from? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
One of
that
them
was the,
vehicle in that. Yeah.
yes, that was from Mr. Nice Guy, and like that is in the middle of the spelling of the word love, because love is really important for Jackie. Like it's kind of like a common thread throughout his whole complex, really. Um, where it's like literally. So I think there's a L and a, yeah, yeah, yeah. So on the other
So
side,
this is the
that's my
tire.
brothers.
Yeah.
That's my brothers, right? That's my family. But
Yeah.
I'll get into those cats later. They're my
Exactly.
dragons.
We'll get into that later. But seeing as you've mentioned tire, and I knew I had a picture of the tire other than the one that's under the camera. So not this tire, but that tire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We've got this tire here. I thought, yeah, while you're explaining it, we can have a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, yeah, so that's the tire, and like so basically there's other things on either side of it, and it basically spells out love. And he has kind of like a little thing that is written about love, and he's
Hmm.
on a plaque, and it's written out on like in different languages, or carved out, engraved in different languages. So some on one side of the tire, and some on the other side of it as well. And
Brilliant.
then there's we walked. So as soon as we're outside, I might as well talk about outside. And then in his cars out on the edge of his like garden, and then around to the probably right hand side of that picture, there was kind of like a big um, like statue of two members of the JC Stunt Team. One was a guy stood in a position like this, and one was a girl who was doing the splits over his shoulder. So we were two of the JC Stunt Team members, and so they had kind of like that striking image there as well. And then
Mm.
you had so there's I can't remember what film it was in, but there's like a little buggy for like a four-wheeler buggy, you know, the Electron. Vroom, vroom, vroom. But basically, I think it's from one of his newer films. But that buggy, he turned it into he put well, he got a sculptor to basically put a like iron frame for it or metal frame for it, and just turned it into like a rocking horse. So kids can just come up and just play on it and go on it and things like that. So
Go on,
which is
Chan. Bloody
yeah, you know what I
brilliant.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real lovely touch.
Yeah.
And like one of the head coach, his younger son went up and he demonstrated for us. He's rocking back and forth on it and things like that. So
Excellent.
that was real nice. And
Was you
then
was adults allowed on it? Was you
yeah, yeah, we could
you
all go
could
on
go
it.
on it if you wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like that's the thing. I mean, the great thing about Jackie's Place is it is like a giant playground. So
Mm.
there is like just so much you can do on it. Because obviously the stunt team, they're literally because they spend so much time there. They're always trying to figure out new ways of moving, new ways of manipulating, you know, items, props, furniture, and like they're all, you know, they can just all just chilling, you know, on their phone, not even chatting. And one person will be like, let me just get up and let me just see what I can do with this chair. And then
Mm.
like Halausha, the leader of the stunt camp, he was like talking his story, and he's like, you know, oh, I can move the chair like this, or you know, I could pick it up,
Yes.
spin it
Go
like
on,
this. Oh,
Nathan.
you know what I mean? Spin
Yes,
it around,
mate.
whatever I want to
Hey,
do. You know, all this
yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
he's doing all this kind of stuff, right? And
Mm.
then all of a sudden he'll be like, oh, you know what? You know what? You get up, come here and help me. And then another teammate get off the phone next, you know, they'll come up and they'll help them, and then they'll just all just start brainstorming off each other. So, and they do that
Yeah.
around the whole entire complex all the time, really. So they're always, you know, keeping that creativity and freshness alive. And he's saying, you know, if you just sat down and thought about what you could do, you probably wouldn't do that much. You have to actually get up and do it, you know, because even by getting up and doing it, you'll find new things that you wouldn't have thought about doing, because sometimes you make mistakes, or sometimes your body takes you in another direction with a certain proper things, and so you just find new ways into things. So
Yeah.
that was
Absolutely.
yeah, do you know what I mean? So that
That's
was a great.
absolutely right. You know, that's the way you'll come up with new ideas, because you
Hmm.
can't have that idea before this action. Once you've done this action, then you go, hang on, we could do
Yeah,
this. You know, that didn't
yeah,
quite work, but this did. So yeah, totally
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so yeah, you can go on loads of stuff. Then he's got like a there's a plush, like almost like dance studio with a nice smooth floor and mirrors all on one side of the wall, in this other building that's kind of like near the house. And then you have another place which has almost got like it's got like big trusses, and like almost like skate ramps, like 2 skate ramps and things that you so basically can jump, climb, spin around on that kind of stuff.
Oh,
And then,
okay. Adventure
and then
playground.
yeah. And then you've
Yeah.
got like this one thing which is incredible. This was actually where we shot our final project. This one thing, and it's like a storage container, and then you go up the stairs of the storage container, and then there's an almost like another storage container on top of it, and there's ladders so you can go up to the very top level of that storage container. And then
When you
but you
say
can also,
so from the outside of them,
yeah,
is that
yeah, yeah. So,
is that what you mean? So like like a shipping container.
yeah, like
Yeah.
a big shipping container, yeah.
But there's
And so
one on top of each other, yeah?
yeah, but they're not like stacked like that. It's like one's here and then one's rotated and this way and things.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, like I say, you see my final project, some of it's up online, so you'll be able to kind of like see in depth like what I'm talking. You'll be able to relate to it when I
Okay.
go into a bit more detail. But so then you go through it, and then once you're inside one of the shipping containers, like some old kind of like suits of armor, like ancient Chinese suits of armor, basically there and things. And then on the other side, there's these kind of like sliding doors. If you slide the doors open, there are these kind of like metal ladders attached to the side of the shipping container. And if you pull them down, they slide down. So then all of a sudden, there's nothing between you and the outside, and you fall into your doom if that was to happen and things like that. So you can
Right.
slide that up and down, close that up, and then you go to the end of that shipping container, and there's a fireman's pole. So you can slide down that fireman's pole.
This is
But if you choose not to slide down the fireman's pole and you
yeah.
turn right out of there, you're onto like a little balcony bit. If you turn right in that balcony, in Police Story 3, when Jackie's on that kind of like that metal thing where he swings around near in the finale where he swings around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
has a bit on the outtakes where he
that's right.
falls off
Yeah,
it
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, gets
yeah.
hit by something. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a big red thing of that as well, which does exactly that. That you could, play around and on with that on as well. And then you carry on going around the outside of it onto to the balcony part, and you can either go down some stairs on the other side, or you can kind of like climb over the balcony onto another platform. But
Mm.
that platform is actually the top of a Jackie Chan bus. So actually, you're on top of a Jackie Chan bus. So in these storage containers is a bus,
Yeah.
basically. So then if you were to slide down the fireman's pole, you'd be inside the bus. And so with that fireman's pole, there's like you slide down it, and then the shutters that you can shut, so you can close it. So there's no hole, so you can actually have a platform there if you wanted to, or you can open the shutters so you can come down. Then there's no like real chairs in the bus. It's kind of like a bit more open space with a few kind of like blocks that you can practice jumping and flipping and spinning off and things like that. When you go outside there's obviously the bus has wheels, but with the wheels, the alloys, they all have a different inscription, like a different word. And one of the words is love. I think another one, what was it? I think another one was loyalty or respect. And basically, the idea behind these is like we move forwards with love, we move forwards with loyalty, we move forwards with respect.
Wheels.
You know?
So the
Yeah,
the, the,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
symbolism, symbolization of being on wheels does actually mean something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So whenever we're moving or traveling, or progressing, that's what we're progressing with. We're progressing with love. We're progressing with
Nice.
like
Yeah.
respect. More. So again, like I said, there's a lot of philosophy all around, all around the place within that kind of context. If you go out the side of the bus and turn to your left, there's like a food truck, and again, that's just used to jump around, flip off, and all that kind of stuff.
You say a
Um,
food truck,
yeah, but I guess you can also serve food
not
as
the
well.
one from Wheels on Mills, is it?
I wish it's not that one. I wish it can have that vibe to it, but it's like it's more like a food stall than a food truck.
Yeah.
But yeah, if only you got to see that van, man. If only Samo's probably got it somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah, but also in the garden, like so, from the film Railroad Tigers, he's also got two of the trains that they use, because they built like these model trains that weighed over a ton each. to do some stuff with, and basically they crashed together and the trains blew up, and then so they basically had them rebuilt and brought to Jackie Chan's garden, basically with that.
Brilliant.
So yeah, so there's lots of like really incredible, cool things. I mean, I think was it Myth? I think where there's like a mechanical horse and stuff like that, and Jackie's on the back of it. That's up in his garden as well. So there's lots of like amazing like memorabilia from his films, and his films is like just a giant. His garden, his yard is just like a giant adventure playground. And obviously you've got like big buses and things like that in the car park. But there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of incredible things that's in the space.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I would never have imagined it, let alone now you're telling me about it, because I could I could never know. Well, I only know because you've told me now about these things. So listen, thanks for that detailed description. Um, you really did walk through it like you were there, but that's because you were.
Yeah,
You enabled me to walk through it with you bit by bit. So thanks, because you don't have to be doing that. You don't have to be spending the time to do that in that much detail. And like I said, I really am grateful that you will do that, because I'm really want to know. I'm totally interested, and I have to try and envisage it and be there. And all these film props that he's brought and used, and they've got meanings and stuff. There's so much to discover, and you weren't even there for that, so you can only take as much of that in as possible.
mhm.
You could go there and not do the stunt camp and just do the garden.
Yeah,
Go and
honestly,
right.
yeah. You could literally
And
just
explore
soak
that.
up all the meanings of everything that's in that garden. Like, yeah, and that's what I mean. There's so much, there's so much depth to that guy in terms of the just the meticulousness in terms and detail in terms of how much he's thought things through and things, and but the emotion, the emotion, like I say, love is so important for that dude, you
Yes,
know, and that shines through so much.
it's amazing, and it's good that he's able to show that. There's a lot of people can be like that and can feel that way, but he's able, he's got the resources, if you like, to be able to show it and put that on show, rather than, and he's doing it right, because he could just go, I've got a massive garden, and yeah, speak to you later. That's the end of it.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
rich guy and I've
totally,
got a
totally.
massive garden, but no, it's not like that. It's not like that.
No, 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 not at
It's
all.
like we said before, with the essence is there. It's in there, you know.
Yeah,
Some people can walk through there and just see a big tire and see this bus and whatever, but it ain't even just that, right? You can actually use it for props to train and shoot scenes, and which
yeah,
obviously
yeah, yeah.
you would have done. And
Mhm.
so it's multifaceted. It's a garden. You can just sit in a garden, have a cup of tea if you want, no problem.
Yep,
It's
yeah,
a training ground if you want, no problem. It's an adventure playground if you just want to play, but it's got a lot of meaning to it as well if you want to walk through it and get a bit of spiritual side from it. So yeah, I
yeah,
mean, so many different things involved in this one area. Such a shame um, that not many people can experience it. As in, I think it would be crap open to the public. I mean, not there, it'd probably be all right. But if you imagine you had that open to the public here, it'd get trashed and graffitied on and everything, right? So it
yeah,
needs
yeah,
protecting, but
yeah.
man, maybe one day they'll open that up, so people can visit it. And, I don't know, maybe you have to book it and there's only certain numbers at a time or something like that. It'd be brilliant
Yeah, I mean,
to
who
share
knows?
with more people.
Yeah, all I know is like through through these training camps, obviously more people get exposed to that, and obviously when people are trained on some of these projects, and some of their training happens there, so they get exposed. So the ones that know, and they can take the energy and the lessons from that and infuse that with either what they do or tell other people about it, and so it's kind of like you said, kind of like you get to live a little bit vicariously through my experience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's my brothers and sisters who are on the training camp with me. They'll be doing the same in terms of telling other people about these things and their experience. So even if the general public can't go there because it would be like Disneyland, if they were to go, it'd just be oversubscribed the whole time.
Yeah.
But they can still kind of get a bit of a feel and a vibe for kind of like you know, what he's like with when a little bit of a different light is shed on him, rather than it's just okay, he's that funny guy in movies, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it shows more of the bloke. Yeah,
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 definitely.
and it's nice. And as you say, it's about there's the right people that are going there, right? So yeah, you are going to share it because you do get it. You get it, right? That's why you're there. So
Yeah,
as you say, it's there. Some people can experience it for real, but that is a very nice way of putting it, that you can still share the experiences, which is obviously why we wanted to chat about it anyway. And I hope that other people pick up from that, because yeah, it's not a secret, it's just not open to the public, but the feelings and the essence of it can be shared through chatting about it or whatever. So yeah,
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
Like I said, thanks very much for doing it.
That's cool.
As we've got to that point, Nathan, rather than go on to a new point like I normally would, which I definitely want to do, we'll leave that one there because it's kind of come to a natural end about Chan and his garden and passing along and sharing his, I'm going to say, sharing his spirit with the world. It's a nice place to leave it. So we'll leave that there. And then what we'll have to do, because we ain't got no choice, if you know, is there's so much more to tell. And I don't want it to be rushed. I don't want it. It's going to be as long as it is. Okay. It's going to take as long as it's going to take. As long as you're happy to do that and give me that time, then please can you come back and tell me loads more about everything else and in the same detail. Don't cut. I love it, Nate. I haven't told you anything, but you have not cut corners based on time. And this is what I like about these films. We know that they do loads and loads and loads of, it's not right, we're going to do it again, we're going to do it again, no, it's not quite right, and they spend so much time on these things. And that's what I want it to be for us. I want it to be, we'll make the chat is the chat, and it will be what it will be. We can end it there because it's ended on a natural process, but I don't want it cut. Oh, look at the time, and I've spoke too long about the garden. Never ever feel like that with me. The more detail and the more time you can give to me to share all this stuff, the more I'll take it. So if it's okay, we'll leave it there. And if you can come back on and carry on in that amazing detail, and then we can get way more out of it, right? And
Yeah,
document. So thank
yeah,
you
yeah.
so far.
That's all good, brother. Great to be chatting to you again.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I'm glad. I love it. I love these chats. This is kind of surreal chats, and I can only imagine because you were actually there walking around this adventure playground, spirit garden. Just what an amazing experience. But yeah, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So I'm really glad that you've managed to get there and experience it. But you made it happen.
Yeah, thanks, man.
No worries. All right, Nathan. Until next time.
Until next time, brother. Catch you soon.
Thanks a lot. All right. See you later, mate.
Yeah, bye.
See you, mate.